I added 5 new interactions to my horror game about life. The idea is to give the player more choice and challenge that way. And it almost made me quit game development.
Like, I don't know what this is doing, but it's breaking me.
So far, all we have is this. A bean walks to a desk, and we were able to actually evolve that into something that looks a little better.
Wow!
But in the end, we definitely want to create something where the player has more choice, right? Like open a menu, press a button, and then do an action. For that, I need to add buttons, which shouldn't be too hard, right? So this took so much longer than it ever deserved to take. Nothing was working. Like, I tried to make a button, and then when you clicked it, the button wouldn't register the clicking, and at first it wouldn't even register the hover over. So I spent, I don't know, a freaking day just trying to understand what the issue was.
I am trying to combine stupid shit. That's not. But are you gonna get your own script done? No, you don't have to. Sorry, what? Excuse me?
What?
You just stop working? That's most likely because I'm a dumbass. No.
The issue was that my button was inverted, so it wasn't detecting the collision. Then I tried to merge two systems. So you have a Unity button system, and you have my raycast system. Remember the thing we did? Raycasting. It didn't work. So I had to rebuild the button again, and I built it in a different way to then have it work with the different system. But then the different system also didn't work.
I don't get it.
So in the end, adding a button was just like stupid hard.
I should start working. Still no ref. What are you no refing?
And that was one of the final things I had to do to kind of finish this first interaction, at least the first version of it. This null ref sentence. So a null reference exception, or in short, null ref. It stands for null, as in zero, then reference, as in I am pointing to something, and then exception, as in an error. So it's a zero pointing error. Let me try to give a really clear example on how this could happen. I point towards the bar to go and grab my friend to get drinks, but my friend isn't there. Now there's multiple reasons why my friend couldn't be there. First of all, my friend was never there. My friend's imaginary. Second, my friend was there but is now to the bathroom. Or third, my friend still has to arrive and isn't there yet. And these would all throw a null ref. Either there is nothing there to reference, either there is something there to reference but it's gone, or there is something there to reference but it's just not there yet. And to figure out which one it is, that's kind of up to you. No one's gonna tell you that. Nothing in your code is gonna tell you what the issue is. You have to figure that out yourself.
Okay, so I immediately. Oh, it's because I do start of day. I do it every time now.
So after fixing this specific null ref, I had to start commenting my code. Writing code is like writing in a language that you barely understand, at least for me. So if you don't put comments in things, you're gonna forget why it even exists. You know, it's like looking at these cave paintings and trying to decipher what the hell they mean at some point. And this created beautiful poetry that I wrote to myself, like, not sure why I split it up, but there's probably a reason. Or one of my personal favorites, the game manager uses this to recognize the type of interactable. This is made in a dumb way, because I don't really understand classes. And the reason I had to do this was because duty called, I had to do some stuff for my job, I had to go on a trip, and when I came back from that trip, I still wanted to understand everything I just solved because buttons appeared to be the hardest thing in the world, and I didn't want to go through all of that again. And then once I got back, I would be able to kind of continue where I left off. So anyway, it was supposed to be a really short journey of about 2 hours, so I recorded the whole thing. 9 hours. It took me 9 hours to get here. It's 23:30. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed.
The next day.
So it's the next morning, and I just had breakfast, and now I need to wait for the taxi to arrive to bring me to the destination with the rest of my colleagues. And then the rest of this journey starts. I'm gonna do this on another 5 hours of sleep. It's gonna be great. And now I'm back in a new shirt and a new environment. I tried to tidy the whole kind of shot up a bit. No clue if it worked. So as soon as I came back, I tried to use my button again. I still had some tidying up to do. There were some bugs that I left behind because I was losing my sanity. And thankfully, I was able to resolve them rather quickly.
Let's do dumb shit. Let's see if this fixes it. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. Probably the dumbest way to build it, but I build it. Fucking fine.
After solving my issues, the next thing that I wanted to add is the ability to go to bed. Because right now, when the day ends, you automatically go to bed to a certain extent. And now the player has a chance to go to bed early, which could result in them getting less stressed, which makes the night easier to survive, so to say. I also wanted the ability to pause the game when a menu was open, but with the way that it's been going so far, it was quite difficult to get the menu to function fully.
Nothing, current interactables, nothing, so I can make him walk there. It is paused, it is unpaused, it is paused, it is unpaused, it is paused. But I cannot do that because a menu is open.
I wanted you to be able to open a menu by clicking on something. Then if you click outside of the menu would close. But then if you click on another interactable, the first menu should close and a new menu should open. That was, of course, not the easiest thing in the world. I think it's really fun to kind of show the difficulty of just make a menu, right? It should be so easy and straightforward to open a menu, to press a button, to open another menu if you close a different one. But I hope this kind of indicates how stupid hard simple shit like this can be. I then started to build my next interaction, which would be the couch. And for the couch, I wanted the player to be able to kind of sit down and play a game or watch TV.
This, and then that becomes the playing timer.
And I wanted players to have the ability to kind of use time to reduce their stress. Because if you work, you get stressed, but you earn money. You need money for different things. However, the stress will make your night a lot more terrifying. And for the people that didn't want to get their nights as terrifying, they could use them time in order to get less stressed to make the night less terrifying. And then after the couch, I wanted to add food to the game. And this was a lot harder. So the idea was that if you work or play games, you would get hungry. And if you get too hungry, you will work slower. So it will take more amount of time to earn the same amount of money. Now the problem here was that this was a completely kind of new system that I had to inject into everything. And it was just really hard. Like, I couldn't get it to work.
Nope. So stupid. I don't get it.
And on top of that, I thought about adding this highlight so that when you click on something, it would light up. I thought it would be good for usability. However, that brought so many bugs. I got like this free asset because I didn't want to make the outline myself because then I have to go into shaders and I don't understand shaders, right? So I wanted to save myself some time and get this package that would just do it for me. And this worked totally fine until I added it to the fridge.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck?
Now, I completely deconstructed my whole scene because of this. I started moving things out, things in. I thought it was my desk that was the problem, so I started to do things with that. And eventually, I figured out that the problem was this fucking lamp.
I'm sorry, what? Wait, what's...
Let's call him Twilight.
What?
It's like Pixar Twilight. Like, this lamp would just somehow make it so that all the highlights would break. So I was deconstructing my whole scene, and in the end, all I needed to do was like move out the lamp and, you know, get it done that way. So fucking Twilight over there just wasted 5 hours of my time to try and get something out there that would be a highlight, which I just wanted for fun, right? And then the system of the hunger and buying food, which would also be kind of a new type of thing that I would have to build, it just started to become daunting. Like, it was so daunting. I couldn't move myself forward. I was so unable to do anything on the project for like a day.
What the actual fuck, dude? And that works. Yup.
And it was just a mental roadblock, right? I made it much bigger in my mind than it actually was. And I think that's kind of the long-term effects of game development, right? Like, the more you build, the more complex things become. So the harder it's going to be to like look up at that mountain and start climbing again, because it's not getting less steep and the top isn't even near us yet. But already the inclines are starting to become more and more and more and more. And sometimes the dread just gets to me. And what kind of pushed me over the edge was the fact that I forgot to record, right? I built like this hunger meter and I just forgot to record the whole thing. And it broke me, right? It just fucking broke me. I was like, it was the first time it happened and there was so much work done. And I had this whole kind of idea in there where, you know, I would have the bar. I spent, I don't know, like 20 minutes on getting a drumstick in there. And it would be like perfection. And all of that was just gone, right? Like I just didn't have it. And it was so frustrating. And then I recorded my raw reaction because I was like, okay, you know, game development has this. Because again, you know, realism, authenticity, this is part of it. And I made the recording. It was using the wrong microphone. So you would hear fucking nothing. And that's when the intro happened. Like, I don't know what this is doing, but it's fucking breaking me. I had a really bad day yesterday where I just wanted to get through the mechanics of the day cycle so I could start on the night cycle to start on the horror bits. But nothing worked. Bugs kept returning. Yeah, I don't know. Like I just couldn't get through it. So I recorded this bit. I recorded like a bit of me trying to explain like, oh shit, you know, like it's quite hard and it's also part of the process, right? But I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to finish this mechanic. I'm gonna go play some games and then come back later and then decide whether I'm gonna continue on the day or whether I'm gonna start on the night thing. And the reason why the day thing is important for me is like, you know, I also have the videos to think about where I want things need an ending, right? Like if I'm gonna explain to you guys that I'm gonna make like the day mechanics, I need to commit to making the day mechanics, because otherwise the video sucks and yada yada yada. It's fine. Like again, like I do this all to myself, so don't worry. But I just wanted to kind of explain that. I recorded the whole thing in this setup where you see me like big, but that uses this mic, and I was talking with like my headset on, and I just did this whole kind of rant. I'll show some footage. I was mega cranky. I was unable to finish what I wanted, and I was like, okay, did that even work? And I listened back to it, and it fucking didn't. That being said, like I decided, because I was undecided whether I was gonna finish the day cycle, but I ended up deciding I will finish it right now. Like that's what I was starting to set up. But then I found this out. Dude, it's like getting punched in the face. Like, I don't know. Like, I think this is true just for anyone that's trying to build something, right? Like, shit's gonna go wrong. It's that simple. Like, shit just sucks sometimes, and that's fine. It really is fine. It's just now that I'm in a high emotional state, I was like, oh fuck, okay, maybe this is also part that people should see, because I think things are kind of working and things are going okay, right? But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and that's fine. Again, like that's kind of what I'm trying to convey. I'm gonna go and finish the stuff. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it so that you can buy food. That's like an important part that still needs to happen. And then I'll see if I'll add in hygiene. And that eventually kind of got me back on the horse, you know, back in the saddle. And the moment I started building and trying to kind of fix it, or, you know, get the hunger effect in, it wasn't even that hard, right? It was just this mental block of like, oh, it's so much and it's gonna be so complex and everything's gonna suck and I don't want to do this. And in the end, it was like ridiculously easy.
Look at that. Ah, that's so cool. Got yourself some feedback.
But I think, again, like the steep incline, that's what's stopping you. You just make it so much bigger in your head because you're fatigued. You don't know how to solve it. You don't know if you're going to be able to finish it. And you got to bite the bullet, right? You gotta go through the sour apple and do it. You don't have to do it today. You don't have to do it tomorrow, but you should do it. Because in the end, it's probably mostly in your mind. And while I was going at it, I decided, all right, let's do the final interaction, which would be the shower. And this would also be a new system where hygiene would come into play, where the more you do, the less hygienic you become. And if you go below a certain level of hygiene, your stress would tick faster. So instead of, for example, getting 1 stress per hour, you would get 2 stress per hour. And then the amount of time it would take to take a shower would be the amount of hygiene you've kind of bottled up. So if you're very dirty, you would have to take a shower for a long amount of time, which would reduce the amount of time you have to actually work and make money. And now you start to see how all these systems are starting to kind of intertwine with each other. So we created this kind of complex web of decisions and cause and effect and things you need to balance. And I think it was gonna go pretty well, actually. And then I tried to kind of balance it out, and that didn't work, so I saved that up for later. But in the end, I think the system I built was quite good. Like, making the shower function or making that work was actually well done. Like, it went super fast because I just built all these things more modular than I originally expected. It was more plug and play than I would expect from myself at my level, right?
And bam, it's back. Fucking done. Weekend. Work. Eat. Sleep. Play. And shower. Work, eat, sleep, play, shower. 5. We got 5. Fucking trials and tribulations, but we got them.
So in the end, I have my 5 interactions. That's 10. So in the end, I have my 5 interactions. If you haven't already, maybe you should have a look at how this all started. You can see the video right here. I don't fucking know. Like, I'll put it somewhere, maybe over my head. And, you know, if you're interested, have a look at how this started. Follow me on my journey. I really want to make these devlogs as authentic as possible, and I want to motivate you and show you that you can also do it, because I'm a talentless dumbass and I can also do it, right?